Hello and welcome to the lecture of thermodynamics. In this lecture, we will talk about Born thermodynamic square. Now, in the previous class of thermodynamics, we have said that we read thermodynamics through system, and we have classified system on the basis of transfer of matter and energy into three: open system, closed system, and isolated system. Now, for closed system, we have seen that the natural variables are P, V, S, T, and the corresponding thermodynamic potential associated with these variables are G, H, A, and U. Now, there exist a lot of thermodynamic relation between these variables, that means between P, V, S, T, and this thermodynamic potential, that is G, H, A, U. So what I've said, in the closed system, the variables are P, V, S, T, potential associated with these variables are G, H, A, U. And I'm saying that there exists a lot of thermodynamic relation between these variables P, V, and S, T and potential G, H, A, U. Now, this Born thermodynamic square help us in remembering this thermodynamic relation between variables and potential. So through Born thermodynamic square, we can remember the thermodynamic relation between variables and potential. That means it is a useful tool to remember this. Born thermodynamic square is a useful tool to remember the thermodynamic relation between the variables and potential. I write Born thermodynamic square like this, BTS. So what is Born thermodynamic square? It is actually a mnemonic technique. It's a mnemonic technique by which we can remember a lot of thermodynamic relation between variables, that is P, V, S, T, and thermodynamic potential. Fine, that means G, H, A, and U. Now, it was given in the year 1929 by Max Born. So this Born thermodynamic square was given by Max Born in 1929. I mean, it has other names also. We can call it as thermodynamic wheel, or we can say is that. So the other name of Born thermodynamic square is thermodynamic wheel, or you can say Guggenheim scheme. Fine. So Born thermodynamic square is a mnemonic technique by which we can remember a lot of thermodynamic relation between variables P, V, S, T and potential G, H, A, U. It was given by Max Born in 1929. The other name of Born thermodynamic square are thermodynamic wheel and Guggenheim scheme. Right? Okay. So what is this Born thermodynamic square? Let's see now. So Born thermodynamic square. So first, what you do, you draw a square. So this is the square you have. Now I will use mnemonic technique and I will write here Satya Prakash, very tired, hey God, AU. By this you can remember the Born thermodynamic square. So how So Satya, that means S is entropy, Prakash P is pressure, very V is volume, tired T is temperature, H is enthalpy, this G is gives free energy, A is Helmholtz free energy, and U is internal energy. So I am saying Satya Prakash very tired, hey God AU. So SPVT. So Satya Prakash and very tired. So SPVT, like this. Satya Prakash very tired. Then hey God AU. Fine. Satya Prakash very tired, and hey God AU. SPVT HGAU. Like this you have to remember. And there are two arrows. One arrow is from S to T and the other arrow is from P to V. So this is the Born thermodynamic square that you have to remember through this technique. Satya Prakash very tired, hey God AU. So Satya Prakash very tired, hey God AU. So SPVT HGAU, and there are two arrows, one from S to T and the other one from P to V. Fine. Okay. Now what is the usefulness of this Born thermodynamic square? So it has mainly four applications. So we mainly read the four applications of Born thermodynamic square. Now before reading the application of Born thermodynamic square, what we will use in all the four cases is the convention of sign. So I want to make clear the convention of sign at the very beginning. So this is my square. So this is Satya Prakash very tired, hey God AU, and the arrow is from S to T and the other arrow from P to V. Fine. Now we will talk about the sign, and this sign we will use when we will read the application of Born thermodynamic square. Now with respect to a particular variable, if arrow is moving away, then we will use positive sign, and if the arrow is coming closer, then we will use negative sign. That means you can see from S the arrow is moving away, so, and from P the arrow is moving away. So for S and P we'll use the sign positive, and for C, let's see, for V and T the arrow is coming closer to V and T. That means there we'll use negative sign. Now this use you will understand when I will show you the application of Born thermodynamic square. So these two things you have to remember, and we will apply these two things into the application of four application of Born thermodynamic square. Now let's see one by one the application of Born thermodynamic square. So let's see the first application. So we are talking about the application of Born thermodynamic square, and the first application is, it will help us to remember the relation between change in thermodynamic potential with variables and change in variables. Fine. So what I am saying, the first application of Born thermodynamic square is, it will help us to remember the relation between change in thermodynamic potential, that means dH, dG, dA and du, with variables and change in variables. Variables means P, V, S and T, and change in variables means dv, ds, dt, dp like this. Okay, so I will show you one by one all the four: dh, da, du and dh. So this is my, so please understand it carefully. So I will do one, then you will be able to solve the other one. So this is Sotto Prakash, very tired, hey God, a u, and the arrow is from S to T and the arrow is from P to V. Fine, this is the square. Now suppose I want to get the expression of dH, that means the change in thermodynamic potential. dH, I want to get the expression of dH. So to get the expression of dH, what we have to see? We have to see H. That means this H is in between which two variables? We have to see that. Now H is between S and P variable. That means you have to write here ds and dp. So first what we have to see? We want to get a equation for dH. We want to get the expression of dH. That means we have to find out the H in the bond harmonic square. So this is the H. Now let's see, this H is in between which two variables? So H is in between S and P. So I write ds and dp here. Now the sign will be determined by S and P. So first let's talk about the sign. So this is S. Now I've said that with respect to a variable, if the arrow is moving away from the variable, then positive sign. So from S, the arrow is moving away. That means here it will be positive sign. And the arrow is moving away from S and moving and going towards T. That means here it will be plus TDS. Now let's talk about here dP. That means P. So from P, the arrow is moving away. That means there will be a positive sign, and the arrow is going to V. That means there will be V dP. So I hope this is clear to you. Now I will do the other three also. It will be more clear to you. Now let's talk about G. So dG. Now so G is in between P and T. So you write dP here and dt here. Fine. Now P means the arrow is moving away, so there will be a positive sign, and the arrow is going to V. That means plus V. Fine. Now T. So T, the arrow is coming closer to T. That means there will be a negative sign, and the arrow is coming from S. That means there will be S. So dH is equal to TDS plus VDP, and dG equal to plus VDP minus HDT. So like this way you can do for dA also. So A is in between V and T. That means dV and dt. Okay. So for V, the arrow is coming closer to V. That means there will be a negative sign, and the arrow is coming from P. That means minus VDV. Now for T also, the arrow is coming closer to T. That means there will be a negative sign, and the arrow is coming from S. That means minus STT. So dA is equal to minus VDV minus STT. So now let's take the expression for du. So u is in between S and V. So you write ds here, you write dv here. So for S, the arrow is moving away, so positive sign, and the arrow is going to T, so plus TDS. So for V, the arrow is coming closer to V, that means negative, and coming from P. So there will be negative sign, and there will be minus P. So dA is equal to TDS plus VDP, dG equal to VDP minus HDT, dA is equal to minus PV minus HDT, du is equal to plus TDS minus PDV. So these four, what we call is a Maxwell equation. So these are Maxwell equation. So these four are what we call as Maxwell equation. So this is the first application of bond thermodynamic square, from where we can remember the relation between change in thermodynamic potential, that means dH, with variables, and change in variables. Variables means T, change in variables means ds. Fine. So these four are the Maxwell equation. We get these four Maxwell equation from Born-Harmonic square. Now let's move into the second application of Born-Harmonic square. So second application of Born-Harmonic square. Fine. So the second application is the second application of Born-Harmonic square is that it helps us to remember the relation between the partial derivative of variables. So the second application of Born-Harmonic square is it helps us to remember the relation between partial derivative of thermodynamic variables. That means P, V, S and T, partial derivative. We designate partial derivative as del and we use a constant in partial derivative. Okay, so here we will also get four relation, and how we will get four relation? By drawing four kind of arrow. So I will show here the four kind of arrow. So I'll draw four thermodynamic square, and then I will show you how the four kind of arrow can be drawn. So this is Satya Prakash, very tired. So here, even if you do not write this HGAU, do not matter, but still I am writing. So from S to T, P to V. So Satya Prakash, very tired. Hey God, AU. So Satya Prakash, very tired. Hey God, AU. S P T V, sorry, V T and H G A U. So arrow is like this. Okay. So now we'll draw four kind of arrow. So one arrow is from S to V and P to T, like this, from S to T and P to T. Now now the next arrow is from V to S and T to P. So one is from S to V and P to T. This is one kind of arrow. The second kind of arrow is from V to S and T to P. Then the third kind is from S to P and V to T. This is third kind, and the other one is from P to S and T to V. So these four kind of arrow we have drawn, and by these four kind of arrow we will get the relation between partial derivative of variables. Now I have said that partial derivative we designate it as del, and we will introduce a constant in partial derivative also. Now in all the four cases I will show you. I have already told you that how the sign positive and sign negative comes. Now here one thing that you have to remember, that the sign either positive or a negative sign will be decided by numerator. Now let's see how this sign will be decided by the numerator. So let's see one by one. So first draw a Born-Harmonic square. S P Satya Prakash, very tired. Hey God, A U. Fine. So from S to T and from P to V. Now let's give the arrow from S to V and P to T. So arrow like this. So arrow is coming from S to V. So from S to V, that means del S by del V. Fine. From S to V, del S by del V. It will be equal to, from this side, the arrow is coming from P to T. So from P to T arrow, that means del P by del T. Now I have said the sign will be decided by the numerator. That means in the left side the sign will be determined by S, and in the right side the sign will be determined by P, because these S and P are both in numerator. So sign will be determined by the numerator. So S, let's see. So from S the arrow is moving away. That means there will be a positive sign, and the arrow is going to T. That means the constant will be T. Fine. And for P the arrow is moving away from P, so it is positive, and the arrow is going to V. That means at constant V. Fine. Now the next square. So Satya Prakash very tired. Hey God, AU. So arrow is like this and this. Now you give arrow from V to S and T to P like this. So now the arrow is from V to S. That means del V by del S. Fine. Equal to this side the arrow is from T to P. That means del T by del P. Okay. So I've said the sign is determined by the numerator. So V. So with respect to V, the arrow is coming closer to V. That means negative, and the arrow is coming from P. So the constant will be P. Now the sign will be determined by T. For T, the arrow is coming closer to T. That means minus, and the arrow is coming from S. Fine. So these are the two relations. The other two will be, again you write the Thermodynamic square. Satya Prakash very tired. Hey God, AU. So S to T, P to V. Fine. Okay. Now you give arrow like this, S to P and V to T. So from S to P, that means del S by del P is equal to V to T. That means del V by del T. Fine. So from S the arrow is moving away, so positive, and the arrow is going to T. So constant. Now V. So from V the arrow is coming closer to V, that means negative sign, and the arrow is coming from P, that means at constant P. Fine. And the last relation in the second application is Satya Prakash very tired. Hey God, AU. So from S to T and P to V. So now the arrow is from P to S and T to V. So P to S, that means del P by del S. Fine. Is equal to the arrow is from T to V. So del T del V. So here with respect to P, so the arrow is coming going away from P. That means positive, and the arrow is going to V. And for T, the arrow is coming closer to T, so it is minus, and the arrow is coming from S. That means it is S. So these are the four relation. So by the second application, what I have said, that second application of Born-Harmonic square, that it helps us to remember the relation between partial derivative of variables. So these are the four partial derivative. These are the four partial derivative which will be very useful in our study of thermodynamics, and we get it from Born thermodynamic square. So far we have read two applications of Born thermodynamic square. Now we will see the other two Born thermodynamic square. As I have said, there are mainly four applications of Born thermodynamic square. So the third application of Born thermodynamic square is that it helps us to remember the criteria of spontaneity. Now spontaneity means spontaneity. So with respect to potential, change in potential, and variable. With respect to change in potential and thermodynamic variable. Okay. So the third application of Born thermodynamic square is it helps us to remember the criteria of spontaneity with respect to change in potential and variables. Now when I talk about spontaneity, that means I am talking about stability. Spontaneity means stability. Now when I am talking about stability, that means lowering of energy. Fine. That means lowering of energy. That means stability. When I talking about lowering of energy, that means delta E is less than 0. I am talking about spontaneity. Spontaneity means moving towards stability. Now moving towards stability means lowering of energy. Now lowering of energy means delta E is less than 0. That means change in energy will be less than 0, that is negative. Now if you see the thermodynamic potential G, H, A and U, these all are energy term. That means you can say Tg less than 0, dH less than 0, you will get du less than 0 and GH or like this, delta G less than 0 or delta H less than 0, delta U less than 0 and delta A less than 0. But this will be the condition of spontaneity only if we introduce the proper variables at constant, as constant. So if we introduce proper variables as constant, then these conditions are correct, otherwise these are not correct. So let's see the correct conditions for spontaneity with respect to the thermodynamic potential. So now let's draw the thermodynamic potential. The Born thermodynamic square. Satya Prakash, very tired. Hey God, hey you. Okay, now I've said, let's first take dH. Okay, I've said dH is less than 0 but at proper constant of variable. Now you have to only see this H is in between which two variable. So H is in between S and P. So the constant will be S and P. So when S and P is constant, then dH is less than 0 is the condition of spontaneity. Fine. So for H, if you write dG is less than 0, this is true if P and T are constant, because G is in between P and T. Fine. Let's take dA less than 0. Now A is in between which two variable? V and T. So here V and T. Fine. And the last one is du. That means U is in between S and V. So du S and at constant S and V is less than 0. Or you can write dH at constant S and P is less than 0. dG at constant P and T is less than 0. Delta A at constant V and T is less than 0. And delta U at constant S and V is less than 0. So these four are the condition of spontaneity. So these four are the condition of spontaneity. So this condition of spontaneity we get from Born thermodynamic square. So this is the third application of Born thermodynamic square. Now let's see the last application of Born thermodynamic square. The fourth application of Born thermodynamic square. Before telling you the fourth application of Born thermodynamic square, I will tell you a property of partial differentiation and complete differentiation. So if suppose you have z and z is a function of x and y. Now what is a function? So function is a rule that relates two or more variables. Fine. So function is a rule that relates two or more variables, and I am saying z is a function of x and y. In the complete differential form, I can write dz is equal to del z del x at constant y into dx plus del z del y at constant x into dy. Okay, so dz is complete differentiation with respect to z. This is the partial differentiation of z with respect to x at constant y. Fine. This is the partial differentiation of z with respect to x at constant y. This is the complete differentiation with respect to x. This is the same partial differentiation of z but with respect to y at constant x, and this is the complete differentiation of y. Fine. Now, so this is the complete differentiation equation of z. dz equal to del z del x at constant y into dx plus del z del y at constant x into dy. Now, if in this equation, if I say z is equal to constant, that means I am introducing a constant, then what will happen? The complete differentiation, that is what we designated as d, it will convert it into partial differentiation. So if I introduce a constant in the complete differentiation of z, then the complete differentiation becomes partial differentiation. Partial differentiation does not change. That means if we introduce a constant in the equation of complete differentiation, then then it will have no effect on the partial differentiation, and also it will not have any effect in independent variable. Okay, so what I am saying is that on introducing a constant in a complete differentiation equation, then complete differentiation changes into partial differentiation, no effect on partial differentiation, and no effect on independent variable. Independent variable also no effect. So let's see the example what I have given you. dz equal to del z del x at constant y into dx plus del z del y at constant x into dy. So I have said I am introducing a constant, z is equal to constant, so dz becomes 0. So here it will be 0. Now del z del x at constant y, I have said the partial differentiation on on introducing constant there will be no effect. That means del z del x at constant y will remain same, dx will become del x, and the constant will be z plus del z del y at constant x, so dy will become del y at constant z. So this will happen if we introduce a constant in the complete differentiation equation. So this change will occur. The complete differentiation d will become partial differentiation del. On del on partial differentiation there will be no effect, and on independent variable there will be no effect. Now we will use this in our use. Now you know already, if you write the 4 Maxwell equation, so dg equal to vdp minus sdt. So you can say it is a complete differentiation equation of g. So this is a complete differentiation equation of g. Now you can do two things. First, you can write that in this equation p is constant. If p is constant, then dp becomes 0. And if I am introducing a constant, that means this dg will become del g. That means del g at constant p. Fine. V into 0, because p is constant, so dp will be 0, minus s. S is the independent entity. Now I have said that on introducing constant there will be no effect on independent entity, so s will remain as s, dt will become del t at constant p. So if you write s, then s value you get as minus del g del t at constant p. So you get the value of s from here. So this is the use of using this rule. Now if you write t equal to constant, that means dg becomes del g at constant t equal to v into del p at constant t minus as into 0, because t is constant, so dt will be 0. So v becomes del g del p at constant t. So like this, the other three you can do. So dA is equal to TdS plus VdP. Fine. Now you consider S equal to constant. So S equal to constant means del H at constant S t into 0 plus V del P at S. So V becomes del H del P at constant S. And if you write here P equal to constant, then del H at constant P becomes some t into del S at constant P plus 0, or t becomes del H del S at constant P. Fine. Now let's take the example of dA. So dA is minus VdP minus STT. Fine. Introduce V equal to constant. Okay, so del A at constant V becomes minus P into 0 minus S del T at constant V. So S you get minus del A del T at constant V. Fine. Here you put T equal to constant. So del A at constant T equal to minus P del V at constant T minus S into 0. So P you get minus del A del V at constant T. Fine. So now you have del U. So du is TdS minus PdV. Fine. Now if you put S equal to constant, so you get del U at constant S into minus P into del V at S. So P value you get minus del U del V at constant S. From here also, if you put V equal to constant, then you get del U at constant V equal to T into del S as constant V minus 0. So T is becomes del U del S as constant V. So for P you get two equation, for V you get two equation, for T you get two equation, and for S also you get two equation. Now these 8 equations you can also get from by using Born thermodynamic square. So this is the fourth application of Born thermodynamic. So the fourth application of Born thermodynamic square, it help us to remember the value of variable. Value of variable means P, V, S, and T in terms of partial derivative of potential change. So the fourth application is it helps us to remember the value of variable in terms of potential, in terms of partial derivative of potential change. Now let's see. Now, as I have already told you that the sign, positive sign or negative sign, is determined by the thing that the arrow is moving away from the variable or moving closer to variable. So if the arrow is moving away, then positive, and the arrow is moving closer, then it is negative. And in the second application we have seen that with respect to the numerator the sign will be determined, but here in the fourth application the sign, that means either positive or negative, will be determined by denominator. Fine. The sign will be determined by denominator. So how? Let's see. Let's draw a thermodynamic square. So Sotto, Prakash, very tired. He got AU from S to T arrow, P to V arrow. Now I want to get the value of s. So I will get two value of s. We have already seen. So we'll get two value of s. Now the arrow is moving from s to t. So to get the value of s, the arrow is moving from s to t. That means in the denominator there will be del t and del t. Fine. So in the denominator the arrow will be del t and del t. Fine. Now this t, if you go in this side, then you get g. That means you put here del g. If you go this side, then you get a. That means you put del a. Fine. And when you are taking del a, the constant will be v. So the constant is v. And when you are taking del g, the constant will be p. Fine. Now the sign. So I have said that with respect to the denominator, the sign will be decided. Sign will be determined. So the t, this arrow is coming closer to t. That means there will be negative sign. Fine. There will be negative sign. So s is equal to minus del g del t at constant p, or minus del a del t at constant v. Let's see the other values. Satya Prakash, very tired. Hey God, AU. Fine. So if you get now, try to get the value of p. Fine. So you will also get the two value of p. So the arrow is moving from p to v. That means in the denominator there will be del v and del v, and the sign will be determined by the denominator. So v, the arrow is coming closer to v. That means there will be a negative sign. Okay. Now from v in this side there is u. So in one case there will be del u, and the constant will be s. So constant is s, and then in the other side there is a. That means it will be del a, and the constant will be t. Fine. But for the other two, you can also do in a similar manner. So Satya Prakash, very tired. He got AU from S to T, from P to V. Fine. So if you want to get the value of T now, then for T, the arrow is coming from S. That means del S. Fine. So S, the arrow is moving away from S, so there will be positive sign. So with respect to S, there is H. That means you put del H here at constant p. Fine. In this case del u, and the constant is v. Fine. And at the last you have to only get the value of v. So Satya Prakash, very tired. Hey God, AU from S to T, from P to V. So the value of V, so the arrow is coming from P, so it is del P, del P. So the arrow is moving away from P, so here will be positive sign. So here H, that means del H, and at constant S, and this side this is G, that means del G, and the constant is T. These are the four equation for P, the 8 equations you can say, for 2 expression for P, 2 expression for V, 2 for T, and 2 for S. These are the 8 equation. Now I have said in the second application of bond harmonic square, you have to determine the sign by the sign will be determined by the numerator, but in the fourth application the sign will be determined by denominator. Now you may get confused, so just to make things clear, when you are doing the fourth application of bond harmonic square, then you see in the denominator the two denominator are same. So you can remember like this: when the denominator are same, then the sign will be determined by the denominator. But in the second application you have seen the denominator are different. In that case the sign will be determined by the numerator. Okay. But in the fourth application of bond harmonic square, both the denominator are same, that means the sign will be determined by the denominator. So these are the 4 very important application of bond thermodynamic square. So in this lecture we have mainly talked about what is bond thermodynamic square, how this bond thermodynamic square helps us, and we have seen the 4 application of bond thermodynamic square. So that's it for today's video.